Scene. I'm Dr. Hicks. We're going to be doing diagnostics for Gonstead. All right, first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for masses, rashes, lesions, or scars. Is there anything on here that's going to make this difficult? Okay, now I'm going to loosen this. We're going to squeeze that together. We're going to tighten. We're going to make sure we get right on T2. So we're going to feel for the vertebral prominence. T2 is like right about here. And we're going to make sure that this is flush right on top, right? And what we're gonna do is, first, let's make sure it's on. Okay, all right. We're on T2. After we go to T2, we're gonna come up nice and slow, all the way up. And then we're gonna do that again, all the way up. All the way up. We wanna go about 3 times. What we're trying to see is if this needle is gonna get us a sway to the right or left. It's gonna let us know if anything's going on. But then we're gonna start at T10, or T2, sorry. T2, right here. And we're gonna open this up a little bit. There we go. So now we're in the thoracics. Right when we're in here, we're gonna come down, all the way down, making sure that these heads are flushed against the skin. And we're looking for any type of change within this needle marker. And you can see as I come down, the needle's coming over towards the right, but as I come up, it's moving further over. So right here, we can go about 3 times. And the way we would mark this is when we found that spot, it would be on the top to indicate. And the cervicals, if we found a spot up here, it would be marked on the bottom, right? We would do that all the way through the sacrum. Great. Next thing I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be searching for edema. So I'm gonna be looking and I'm gonna be feeling right on the edges of that spinous process, coming all the way down, seeing if I can feel any puffiness, any swelling, liquid that might be built up. It feels like we have a little bit right here, and then right in here. So I'd be doing that, and I would come all the way down. You can do it one hand, same hand, or we can even glide down to see. Look, that'll be checking for edema. The next thing I'm gonna be doing is we're gonna be looking at the occiput. As I have the patient come up, we're just going to be seeing by having both hands on the mastoid and the TVP of C1. And while I'm here, I'm gonna be coming with a lateral flexion. I wanna see if the mastoid and the TVP collapse on each other. If they don't, then that could be the side of my laterality. So right here, C1, seeing if they collapse on each other, that could be the side of my laterality. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna be doing a forward scoop of the occiput. Go ahead and lean back a little bit, there we go. Forward scoop of the occiput, just to see. And we're gonna come from the right, there we go, and from the left. And we'll also come from the front. And we're gonna see if there's an AS. So one would be indicative of a PS if it was having trouble moving forward. Other one would be indicative of an AS if I was having trouble moving it back. Next, we're gonna be going over here to C1. So once we're at C1, we're gonna be on the arch of C1, the posterior arch of C1, and we're going to be going into rotation, seeing if it's stuck on each side. Whichever side it might be stuck on, it feels like it might be a little bit stuck on the right, that'll be your side of posterity. So this would be a PR on the right. We're also gonna be checking in to extension. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna have my fingers in between each spinous process, all the way from C2, hopefully down to T2, T4. We're gonna be in between those spinous processes, and we're gonna come back. The goal is to feel those collapsing on top of each other. And then we're gonna also go into flexion, coming forward. And the goal is to see that gap in here. We can also do rotation here too, just to see, make sure everything's spanning the way it's supposed to. And we're gonna be doing that all the way down throughout the spine. So if I was down here in the thoracics, I would have, instead of in between the spinous process, I would be on top of each spinous process, boom, boom, boom. And then I would do the same thing. We would rotate, making sure that those spinous processes are fanning, rotate, and we'd be able to go through all those same ranges of motions. The only difference is instead of in between the spinous processes, we're directly on top of the spinous process from the thoracics down through the lumbar. Okay, let me see. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to check C1 and C2 as well real quick. I like to just be thorough. So the same thing with C1 and C2. We're gonna go into lateral flexion. We want to see if those are actually closing in on themselves and moving. If not, that could be your sign of posteriority. And the same thing with rotation, okay? Now I'm gonna be doing the twist test. This is gonna be showing me my side of issues, or the side of complaint, side of problems with the sacrum and the pelvis. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be on the opposite side of what I'm testing. Hand's gonna be across the shoulder, and this is gonna be on the PSIS, and we're gonna be here in the sacrum, and I'm gonna rotate her back towards me. The goal is, if I don't feel this actually coming forward and the ilium coming back, if I don't feel that movement in there, this would be the side where it's stuck at, and I would do the same thing on the other side. Here, boom, boom. And if I didn't feel enough movement within here, this would be my side everything's stuck at. This would be the side that I would be working on. So for the sake of this video, this is gonna be the side that I'm working on. I'm gonna have my patient stand up for me. Perfect. And now we're gonna be doing the bend test. I'm gonna have both hands on the PSIS. Perfect. And I want you to bend forward. And I'm gonna let my thumb travel with what I feel the PSIS is doing. Perfect. As you can see, my left hand's thumb is a little bit higher than my right, so this is the side of complaint, or the side of the problem. Go ahead and come back up. Perfect. And now, we're gonna be right here. I'm gonna have one finger on the sacral base, or S2. Other one's gonna be on the PSIS. And what I want is, I want you to lift this leg up for me. Perfect. Go ahead and put it down. If we weren't feeling this move away from my fingers, or move into my fingers, then what this could be indicative of is the AS on the same side. Now I'm gonna have her raise the opposite leg, so this side, and I wanna feel that sacrum fall down into my finger. If I don't feel it fall down into my finger, go ahead and put the leg down. Then it could be a PI on the left, opposite PI, so it'd be a PI on the left. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be looking at the gluteal height. Gluteal height, it looks like we have a little bit of a lower glute over here on the left, so that would be indicative of a PI, right? Higher glute would be indicative of an AS. Next, we're going to be looking at the width of the glutes. Width of the glutes, as we can see, the left is a little bit wider than the right. Wider would be indicative of an IN, internal rotation. A lesser width would be indicative of an EX, or external rotation. Okay? All right. Go ahead and have a seat for me. Now what we're going to be doing is the knee swing. With the knee swing, we're going to have you bring your legs out a little bit. Right here. My hand is going to be right over here on this PSIS and sacrum, right? Trying to fill that gap. What I want is as I push the knee in, I should feel that gap opening. As I bring the knee out, I should feel that gap closing. If I don't feel that gap on either direction, if it's not opening while I push in, that's indicative of an IN, internal rotation. If I'm opening it up, but you're not feeling it open or close, sorry, then that's indicative of external rotation, right? Alrighty.
Are you going to forfeit your time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna end the video now.
Thank you.